Hey guys, this is a how-to video on building your own backpacking teepee. I put a lot of research into this. I wanted to build my own. I had some goals in mind of keeping it lightweight, packable, but also sleeping 4 to 5 people. I've got the teepee done. I'm going to go through the materials, how I found them, what I bought, some of the costs, what you're going to need, and how I put it together. If you're not interested in the steps on how I did it, go ahead and fast forward to the end of the video. The last 3 or 4 minutes we have the teepee set up, and you can check it out. Hope you enjoy.
Alright, so here's some of the materials that we're going to use to put this teepee shelter together. First, this is sil nylon. So this is a silicone impregnated nylon. It's 1.3 ounces per yard. You can go down to 1.1, which is essentially the same, or up to 1.5, 1.7. Not much of a difference when it comes to that. I have 34 yards here. I think I'll probably use about 28 of it. You can get seconds of this material from quite a few companies for around the $3 to $5 mark. We have 2 zippers. There's a number 3 and a number 5 zipper. Number 3 zipper you can see quite a bit smaller. And this will probably be used for the inside of the tent, like for a screen door. The number 5 zipper, a little bit bulkier, a little bit tougher, probably be able to withstand weather a little bit better. Neither of these are waterproof zippers because we're going to do a cover over it, so it won't be that important. I've got zipper stops, both for the number 5 and number 3, and then also, for the top and bottom of the zipper. We have just some 1 inch webbing. You pick that up about anywhere. Pretty inexpensive. That's going to be for your stake loops. The recommended threads, we have a polyester and a nylon thread, both. I haven't really dealt with this too much, so I'm going to see which one is better. I know you're not really supposed to use a cotton thread because of the wicking, and it'll get moisture in your tent. This is a pre-made stove jack. We're going to put in towards the top of the tent. Still debating whether I'm going to use this one or not. There's a couple other materials. I have some Kevlar here that you can also make it out of, really high melting point. Have some Cordura that is going to go on the flaps on the bottom, just little pieces to hold those stakes in. Then we have the no-seam netting. A lot of this material is ordered off of Bear Paw. They sell both the tents and materials to make them. And this is the Dyneema fabric. It's a little bit expensive. This is $25 a quarter yard. This is what we're going to make the cone at the top of it out of. Then we got some number 14 needles. Just some regular paracord. Some of this is to hold the fabric together. This sil nylon's extremely slippery stuff, so we're just going to use little clips to hold it together, as well as just to make it a little bit tacky on the edges. And then there's some seam sealer for when we're done. A few more pieces to it, but I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. I'll go through some of the dimensions. At the end of it, I'm going to type up some of the product names, and with my dimensions, how much I needed, including the costs. So get back to you when we cut the material.
All right. So here we've got just the sil nylon. It comes in a 60-inch roll. When I bought it, I bought sil nylon seconds. This is 1.3 ounce sil nylon. I cut 8 of these triangles. Mine's going to be an octagon. And then I'll show you the seams I'm using and the dimensions. Here's just a quick drawing of the dimensions. So this is the right triangle of the inside of the. So this would be the center pole in the teepee. So 90 inches tall. I think I said it was going to be 8 feet. It's actually going to be just like 7.5. This is half the width of it, 72 inches, so it's going to be 144 inches wide. And this piece of fabric is 115 inches long. So with an octagon, if it's going to be 144 inches across, each piece at the bottom of the octagon for this teepee is going to be 4'9" or 58 inches. So I looked at ratios of a lot of other ones, height to width ratios, and this gives me about a 1.5 ratio. So it should work out really well. Show you some of the way the seams I'm doing. These are called a flat felled seam, and this minimizes the number of holes you have to put into the teepee, but it's a very efficient, strong tarp or tent seam. So you can just kind of see the way I'm doing it, but those two together folded over, 2 seams down it. A little bit tricky with this sil nylon, it's real slippery stuff, but my wife's the one doing all the sewing, so it's not that bad. So this is the first half of the felled seam. This is with the exterior touching on the inside, so this section in here is going to be the exterior side of the tent. This is going to be inside. This is the first stitch. You can see I just have about, just under half of an inch hanging out, and then almost a full inch this way. And then we're going to fold it over. First you have to open up the tarp like this, and then it's just kind of like that picture shows, and it's folded over halfway and then rolled again onto the inside. Just a little bit hard reaching around the camera, but essentially that's where we're going to go with it. Like, let's see if we can get it focused right there. So I'll show you what that looks like on another piece of finished. That's an inside seam right there. That's what the outside of the tarp's going to look like. You can see just a pretty typical tarp seam. And then obviously all these need to be sealed with a sealant. So you can see we've got all 8 pieces sewn together here. It's kind of getting a lot of material to handle. Inner grommet sewn in with this Dyneema fabric. This is some pretty impressive material. It's fairly expensive per yard. It's about, I think, 25 bucks for a quarter yard. I've got 2 sections of it. One sewn on the inside for that center pole to grab, and then another one on the outside, just in a cone shape, just sewn around about the top, about 4 inches down all the way around. This is how I'm going to do my grommets to hold the stake ties down on the bottom corners of the tent. What I have is 3/4 inch webbing and some Cordura fabric, just cutting it into circles, putting a little incision right in the middle of it, and then folding this webbing over and tying it in. Then I'm going to attach it to the tent like this. I've got quite a few of them. You can see that's the finished grommet on the bottom. It's about a 6-inch piece of webbing right here, 9 cents a foot at Home Depot. Pretty inexpensive. Really, the 3/4 lightweight. It's going to be packable still. This Cordura is really, really strong stuff. I mean, that's going to hold up to about anything I need to get it to stay up in. So that's the grommets. Here's you find one of the ones I've done between. Yeah. So this is, instead of being in a seam, these ones are in the seams right here, and then halfway I'm putting a lighter version with just a little paracord. So this is a smaller circle, same kind of thing, a little bit longer on the paracord right here, because this I don't think is going to take quite the beating. This is really to hold it down, to keep wind from coming up and in. So that's what I'm doing in between. Same thing, just a little smaller and lighter version of it. Alright, here we go. Finally got the project done all the way. Just got it set up in the backyard. I'm just seam sealing
the tent tonight, so I thought I would buzz through it. You'll see that there's a little bit of the seam sealer still on there, but we got the zipper in. This is a number 10 zipper. Put 2 sliders on it so you can go back and forth. I put a storm flap on here to cover the zipper. Pretty easy addition that we put on there. See, this door, they both stake down here at the bottom if you want, and then I put just these ties here. They're pretty simple, so I can tie these together to hold this door back. Or obviously you can remove that stake right there and fold it all the way back and make a really big door. So inside, we've got, it's 11 feet tall. It's 7 foot, about 2 in the center. Let's get down low here so you can see up to the top there. So the pole was just made by a company called Bear Paw Wilderness Designs. This is an Easton .742 aluminum pole that breaks down into 6 sections. They're 16 inches long each, and then there's a carbon fiber adjustment at the top that gives me 6 inches up or down of adjustment. So if I'm in a soft ground, I can extend it a little bit higher. If I'm in a hard ground, then it'll just be down on its lower settings. On the inside, a couple of things we added. Put some of these ties up here, every other seam, all the way around, so that I could hang stuff up here to dry. As you can see, it's got 2 zippers, so I can zip it just a little section open if I want to add some ventilation to it. You can keep it closed. Easy to zip up and down with this big number 10 zipper. Then it's got some ties on the inside as well if I wanted to tie this back to the inside, or if I wanted to roll it all the way around. You can see there's a tie coming through here and here. I could roll the door back, tie it around right there. So, hold on, buddy. So, on the outside, we've got, what I did is I put on the very front for these grommets, I put an orange strap, orange 1-inch webbing, or actually 3/4 inch webbing, and then on the back, on the back of it, I did the same thing. Put another orange one so I can tell where the front and the back is. When you set this up, it's kind of important to know front or back. So anyway, that's the tent. Felled seams, rolled bottom. We've got the grommets with 3/4 inch webbing for the big places. I didn't put all the stakes in. Then I've got just your regular paracord with some cordura on these in between. I have these for the tie outs. I have the material, I have the stuff to put the tie outs on. I just didn't tonight because I'm just doing the seam sealing. So anyway, octagon style. Final weight came in. You can see right here. So here's our stove jack in here. This was also by Wilderness Designs. These are the 2 things that I bought. I bought the stove jack and I bought the pole. Everything else I bought just raw material and made. But stove jack, I'm going to cut just the 4-inch flue hole in here, and then you can take that off, take this off if you know you're going to keep your stove in there. That's the Dyneema fabric right there. That is up top at the cone. Final weight came in at just under 3.5 pounds, 3 pounds 6 ounces for just the tent. The pole was 11 and a half or 12 ounces, right about 12 ounces I think. So I'm just about 4.5 pounds right now in this tent, just under 4.5 pounds actually. I do have a stove, a lightweight titanium stove I'm going to be putting in it, but I'm not going to include that in this one. So there it is. Pretty excited about it. We'll put one more review when we put it up and sleep in it the first time.